Hey everybody, Keith here with the guys from It Came from GenX. Tonight we're going to talk about the Oscars, disappointments, surprises. Also, do you know there are a few states that still have a firing squad on the books? Definitely going to talk about that a little bit. And in the NHL, a player refusing to participate in Pride Night. What are your thoughts on that? What's your favorite Adam Sandler movie? You know, he's won a prestigious award just recently. Also, you still play board games? Your family participate in board games? What are some of your favorite board games? All this and much more on It Came from Gen X. Here we go.
This is an It Came from Gen X video.
Hey, what's going on, good people? Welcome to It Came from Gen X, show 101, coming to you from Northeast Ohio. My name is Keith Porter, along with my dearest friends and brothers, Michael Skinner and Mr. Brian Fisher. What's up, fellas? How you doing, Skinbo?
Doing well. Getting over being sick once again.
Yeah. I know it.
Four sinus infections in 5 months. I'm about
That's
done with
crazy.
this craziness.
Yeah,
But been on
we'll
medication.
talk about that later. We'll
feeling much
get
better.
that immune.
So.
Okay. Fishbone, what's going on, baby?
Hey, man. It's been a
Back
couple
in the
weeks
saddle,
here. Huh? Yeah, back in the saddle. Good St. Patrick's Day weekend. A lot of fun Friday, hanging out with friends, Dean and Megan and a few folks out of Medina. That was a good time, and quality time over the weekend with Allie, and more friend time on Sunday. So, yeah, it's been a couple weeks since we've done this. Missed you guys, and glad everybody's feeling a little bit better and get back to it.
Yeah, we were all together for our 100th show celebration. If you did not catch that, it is on all our social media streaming platforms, which Fish will tell you about in a minute. It was a lot of fun. It was great to be together again in the same room. And wow, here we are on that journey to 200. So I'm very excited about that. I had a great weekend. It was cold and wet, and I was exhausted, but I had a great show with Mixed Nuts at McAlpine Meadery out in Beach City, a little bit past Navarre. What an awesome place. A great staff. They were just wonderful to us, and had a lot of help carrying all my equipment, and we had a blast out there. So appreciate that. McAlpine Meadery out in Beach City, and I had, good day today. I enjoyed some sunshine. Had lunch with my son, and made my way to work in Akron and been to Canton, and here I am. So before my head falls over, let's get 101 on the road. Fish, tell them where they can find the show.
All right. Well, you might be listening to us on demand, wherever you listen to podcasts. We can be found on all major podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast, Google Podcasts, etc. Wherever you listen to podcasts, look for the It Came from Gen X podcast. Give us a follow or subscribe for free. And as we post new episodes, they will pop into your podcast feed free of charge. You might be watching us on our YouTube channel at It Came from Gen X. Full-length videos and segments are there, or on the Boss Code Media TV network. You can find that network on your smart TV or your portable device. Just look at Boss Code Media, download, subscribe, or on there with many other creative talent. If you call us talent, maybe that's a loose description of us, but check us out there as well. All show information can be found in two main places. Our Linktree page is simply Google Linktree. It came from Gen X. It's simply a page with links to social media where you can listen to us, etc. And our website, itcamefromgenx.wordpress.com. All show information is there. Links to new episodes, links to videos, bios, ways to sponsor the show. And also on our Linktree and our website is a link to our podcast merch store. Merch with logos and other cool things. Check us out there. If you do anything at all, tell a friend, share, follow, rate, review, all that good stuff. Helps others find the show And we appreciate your support out there. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I want to give a shout out to my lead singer in the band Mixed Nuts. He did double duty Saturday night. His original band also played the band Gaslight. And Jerry is a bass player. I know that. He plays a couple songs, Mixed Nuts set, but I did not know to what extent of a bass player he was. I was absolutely blown away. This guy is just phenomenal. He has a great sound. He has an amazing groove. And this band had some of the best originals I've heard in a long time. And I want to give a big shout out to Gaslight. Just a great, great job. So you can catch their CD, pick it up. All right. Well, guys, been a couple weeks. Lots to talk about. This crazy world we got going on. And big love to our producer, Michael Skinner Jr. Big love to Des the Reason. And Skinbone, take it away.
All right, fellas, we're going to just jump right into episode 101 and hit a pretty heavy topic. Capital punishment is in the news, and more precise, in the state of Idaho. The state of Idaho is not known for a lot of things other than potatoes. It's the little state in between Washington and Montana. But they just passed law that they are reinstating the state of execution by firing squad. They, in 2009, had banished that as a form of capital punishment. But here we are 14 years later, they are putting it back on the books for a backup state way of executing people that have been committed crimes and been sentenced to death. What the problem is there is a lack. Here we go, talking about lack of this, lack of that. There's a shortage of this, and there's a shortage of that. There is a lack of lethal injection across the United States, to the fact that there were only 18 executions in the year 2022. That's it. I didn't get into any more research as to what a normal average is, but 18 seems awfully small for as many people. There's thousands of people on death row. How are there only 18 across the country? So Idaho, all they're waiting for is the governor to sign it into law. It will be the 5th state in the union to have this form of punishment. Mississippi, Utah, Oklahoma, and South Carolina currently have the execution by firing squad as a form of capital punishment. Now, when you think about firing squad, what's the first thing that come to mind? Probably a movie that you've seen.
Yeah.
And
a Western, something like
that. Something like that. We're talking real world.
Medieval times, yeah.
2023 firing squad. My next thought is, do I want to be the one behind the rifle shooting at this individual? You know, that doesn't mean that I don't believe in capital punishment, because you do the crime, you do the time, you get what's coming to you. Whether it's lethal injection, whether it's, whatever the case may be. With that being said, as firm believer as I am in the death penalty, I'm not sure I could stand behind that gun and shoot any human being, whether they deserve to die or not. That's my personal, as rough as I am around the edges, and I know I can go off on tangents, and I probably will hear later in the show. This is one that I'm not sure that I could actually be a part of. So I don't know if you guys heard the story, if you knew this was going on, or what I would like to hear your thoughts on all this.
Wow.
Go ahead, Keith.
This is crazy. If you would have told me that any state has that on the books, I would have told you you're crazy. And the reason being, when you talk about lethal injection, which is a popular method around the United States,
It's the preferred method.
preferred method, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
I hear stories about, well, they use this or they don't use that. And I'll always hear this word because it's inhumane.
I hate that statement.
Which has always boggled me. I'm like, you're killing a person, but you're trying to prevent from being inhumane. Okay. All right, whatever. So for me to hear that you are lining a person up, and I'm not even so much advocating for the person being shot. I'm advocating for the people doing the shooting.
Yeah.
That's what concerns me. If you are anybody who, I'd gladly do it, that's a problem right there. You have a problem. Anybody who would gladly take that job, there's a way that they do the lethal injection, which I'm sure all you guys know. 3 people hit a button at one time, and you don't know which one is releasing the lethal injection.
Correct.
That ain't for the person being killed. That's for the 3 individuals who, you got to consider a person's conscience and how they go on after that.
Right.
Because it's not easy finding people to do such a horrific act.
Well, my guess in the firing squad, you're going to have, I think it would be 4 or 5 individuals. They're going to be four bullets that are duds and 1 that's the actual going to take out the individual. So they're not going to know who it is. Might ease it a little bit, but I'm with you on what you're saying.
You know what? Listen, man. Let me put my lines on my put it on the line. Now let Fisher go. I'm not saying that I am advocating capital punishment or even going against it. I understand it. Like you said, the Bible says you live by the sword, you die by the sword.
Mm-hmm.
So I get that part. However, I think a firing squad is the most barbaric thing for us as a society moving forward that we could possibly do to hinder that forward movement. I just think it's very barbaric. Fish.
Yeah, to me, it's like really anything beyond the lethal injection is really questionable. Electric chair, firing squad just seems like a very, it's interesting that it's still, like you say, even a thing. I mean, what's next? You got to bring back the guillotine or something like that.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, what about
You
the
know what I'm
public
saying?
hanging? Is that going to come back?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. So,
And then, hey, let's be fair. Let's balance it. Maybe if it is barbaric, some of these people stop some of all this killing and raping and torturing and all this other stuff too. Might give that a second thought.
What is it? They say you take an eye for an eye. Some third world countries, if you steal, they cut your fingers off or they cut your hand off. That's your punishment for stealing. If you, heaven forbid, do something to the opposite sex you're not supposed to be doing, they take off your junk.
Castration? Yes.
Yeah, whether you're male or female. Some will argue, and they've argued this within the last 10, 15 years, that we should come back to that as a society. People will start to think twice about doing something wrong.
yeah.
Well, that's the old adage, like gun control. You take the gun away from the person, they're not going to shoot anybody, or there's not going to be criminals out there.
Right. My only problem, Skinner, when you start talking about absolutes, like taking somebody's hand off, taking somebody's life, castration, these are methods that have no margin for error.
Correct.
And our legal system is so screwed up right now.
Oh, that's
And
another
what
subject
worries
for another
me.
time.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I mean, what's the name of the organization? I forget their name, but they get innocent people off death row. The lives that they have saved, the people that would have been, murdered, and they were innocent. So, is it Amnesty International? That it? I can't think of their name, but they've saved a lot of innocent people set up for execution. That's the only problem I have with absolute methods like this. But I can't believe the firing squad is a method of execution in the United States of America in 2023. I'm blown away by that.
And there are 4 states that currently have it on the books.
Wow.
Well, we're pushing the state of Ohio. I mean, it's not a death penalty, but it is a definite deterrent for the research where they lock people in a room and you have to listen to the It Came From GenX podcast for 100 episodes.
I heard they were going to bring that back.
Crime is down.
Yeah.
64%, I think, in Ohio. Something like that. It's 60, or maybe it's 0.6. Something like that. I don't know. So we're trying to help.
Say we're doing some good in the world.
We're trying to help. You know.
You got to listen to all 100 episodes.
All at once. Yeah. No breaks.
That'll rehabilitate you.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Can I check into that lethal injection you got of it? No. Nope. 50 more to go.
Okay. Well, amazing story, Skinner. Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Wow.
And
right out of the gate.
Right out the gate.
Right out of the gate.
Welcome to 101, people.
That's right.
Well, hey, since we're in the deep end of the pool,
wow.
Moving on to some music or some sports. Let's keep it going then before we lighten things up. Sport news, there was a lot going on in the NFL, but before we talk about that, the big story's been going on in the NHL. Well, I don't think we've ever talked about hockey on the show.
No, I don't think so.
Goalie for the San Jose Sharks, James Reimer, has been under scrutiny, under praise. He's been crucified, if you will, in social media. He's also been lifted up. He has refused to participate in this Saturday's Pride Night, where the San Jose Sharks are all wearing Pride jerseys. First of all, putting rainbow jerseys on hockey players, there ought to be some kind of law in the books for that. Just like, really? But he has refused to participate, citing his religious beliefs. His morality meter will not allow him to participate in that. And I'm not going to harper on the negative. I'm not going to harper on the positive. It's been a whole lot of both. But this has to make you wonder. Now, we kind of saw stuff like this coming down the road a while ago. I have an ex-girlfriend. You guys all know who I'm talking about. And I remember a few years ago, she called me from work, highly upset. She was about to quit her job, very nice, high-paying job, because her entire company decided to participate in the Pride Parade downtown Akron and tried to force her to be a part of it, and she refused. She didn't have to quit, but it was pretty sticky for a while. And I remember what I was thinking at that time. Is this the writing on the wall? Are we going to see more and more of this coming? And people almost being forced to participate. Now, you're talking about her decent paying job, but this guy, making, anywhere from $500,000 to a couple million a year, or whatever, having to put those type of things on the line. What used to be in the closet, now you're being shamed, and cancel culture is in your face if you don't go along with this. So just want to hear your thoughts. I'm gonna let Fisher go first because I know Skinner. I got my hand on the bleep button. Fish, your thoughts on this whole story here, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, it's first of all, me personally, it's fine. It's like I would, if it was me and I had the choice, I guess that's the thing. That's the choice. I would do it because I support, all people and this and that and the other. However, it's not necessarily against any religious thinking and that type of thing.
Right.
So, but if somebody does not believe in a cause, whatever it is, doesn't have to be, it could be religious, it could be sexual preference, it could be whatever, the United Way. I don't know. If for some reason you don't believe in the cause,
Right,
then your employer should not force you to do so. I think that part of it is wrong, and just stop making it a big to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just if someone chooses not to do it, fine. And
that
then,
is as fair and cool as anybody can be about it. And you like how you started it off. That ought to be your choice, and you shouldn't be vilified if you decide not to participate.
Now, if you don't do it, you have to understand too, just like, players that may choose not to participate in the national anthem and things like that.
Oh,
right?
I'm so glad you brought that up. I can kiss you right now.
I mean, you're going to have to.
I saw something that said, you know what? Some of the same people that are crucifying this guy are standing up for this guy are the same people that crucify players for kneeling on the national anthem. Thank you.
Yeah, it's very possible. So
thank you.
You also have to understand, if you have a public job, a job that you're out in the open like that. If you choose not to do something,
now,
there are definitely going to be people that support you.
Like I said, I want to be fair. It was in their contract to stand for the national anthem. We don't want to get into all that, but we know what we're trying to say.
Exactly.
As far as the morality opinion, public opinion. Thank you. Well said.
Right. So that's all I got to say.
Brother.
They shouldn't force them. That's it. That's my opinion. Skinner, go ahead.
Thank you, Fish.
You fellas ready?
No. We're never ready for you.
Well, let me first say that I don't care what you do behind closed doors. What you do behind closed doors is your business. What I do behind my closed doors is my business. Your opinion of that means nothing to me, just as my opinion means nothing to you. With that being said, Fisher said perfectly, if I'm being forced to do something that I'm against or not willing to participate based on moral reasons, based on religious beliefs, whatever the case may be, you can't force me to do something and risk my job, risk whatever it is that is there, because somebody else has an agenda that wants to go out there on mainstream. Hockey, football, baseball, basketball, sports in general, professional. That is a platform that everybody tries to utilize for their own freaking agendas. And it's the last place the human being wants to see this shit, excuse my language, is on these platforms. I go to a baseball game on a Tuesday night at 7 o'clock in the evening to get away from society, to get away from my daily grind. I go to a music show on Saturday night to get away from my daily life and the grind. I don't want to hear this crap about I should believe in this, or I should support this, or I should do this, when I'm trying to escape the exact same things that these people are trying to shove down my throat.
All right, good point.
Am I making sense?
Oh, you're making a whole lot of sense. And let's be fair. Not just that, any political idealists.
It is across the board.
Across the board. And we got to understand there's a difference between this and say maybe Black History Month or Cancer Awareness Month and all those other things. There is a difference. Don't try to compare those and lump them all together.
No, it's apples and oranges.
Yeah.
It is apples and oranges. They are putting something on a platform to shove an agenda down people's throats.
Yeah.
That's different than trying to educate people about Black history
Yeah.
or about people trying to cure cancer.
Mhm.
That's something totally different. If you come at me with those things, I'm going to come right back at you and tell you you're full of crap.
Yeah. Well,
Don't bring
well
it to
said,
me.
gentlemen. This is. I hope this isn't the writing on the wall. I'm very disappointed in San Jose Sharks. Of course, their statement was that they want to give the notion that they are for everyone. I don't understand what that means. You're not saying that you're for everyone. You're talking about people's sexual identity and preference. That
So
should
you're
not even be a part
alienating
of,
and
what
singling
you're.
out one of your own because you
Yeah,
want to be equal to everybody else.
yeah.
It's hypocritical.
If you got a person on the team that's gay, isn't that making a statement enough that you're for everyone? Uh, so to put rainbow jerseys on hockey players, I think is absolute ludicrous, and I don't hope we don't see people at any job being forced to participate in anything like that, and if they don't want to, that's where that line draws. Okay, thanks, guys. All right, moving on. Let's stay in sports real quick, guys. A lot of free agency stuff going on. Um, some incredible moves are being made. The NFC East has been amazing because the NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles have just been decimated defensively. I've never seen anything like it. They've lost, I think, 9 starters from that Super Bowl appearing team. They're in a whole lot of trouble. And then on the flip side of that coin, the Dallas Cowboys have made the moves finally that they need to make. They have let go of Zeke to commit to Pollard, which I think is going to totally change the way that offense looks. It's going to take the ball out of Dak Prescott's hands, throwing 50 times a game, which has been part of their problem. And they have an offensive weaponry right now that's just going to be second to none in the NFL. So a lot of exciting stuff going on in football. The Detroit Lions, they have no excuse right now. The moves they have made. The Cleveland Browns, thanks to that ridiculous contract that they gave Deshaun Watson, they have caused all sorts of problems in the AFC North. Lamar Jackson is in danger of leaving the Ravens. He wants so much guaranteed. The Steelers have made some amazing moves fixing their hole, especially on the offensive line. Expect great things for them. And speaking of Cleveland, though, Cleveland has gone all in. We haven't seen the moves they made yet, but they made one huge move, to my knowledge. Deshaun Watson will be receiving somewhere around 60. If you guys heard this, correct me if I'm wrong, 16 million or something this year. He restructured his contract to give them a crap load of money on the cap, so they can just go hog wild signing people.
Yeah,
they got to win now because he's going to get like $64 million in 3 years, 2-3 years, and they got to win now. They're going to be hit, but he went all in with them. They are committed to putting the pieces they need on that team. So a lot of interesting stuff going on, and you guys are more than welcome to comment on any of that. But some of the moves that are big news is when we see legends who have been with the same team their entire career at the end of the career now moving on. Derek Carr has left the Raiders. He is with the Saints now. Garoppolo is now with the Raiders. But Aaron Rodgers exiting Green Bay, most likely will be signing with the New York Jets, following in the footsteps of his predecessor, Brett Favre. Brett Favre was different. He had success after Green Bay. Minnesota should have went to the Super Bowl that last year, and he certainly had some great seasons. But we've seen a lot of great players in their career in a different uniform, and it was sad to watch. Franco Harris in a Seattle Seahawks uniform. That was just really, really sad. I wanted to ask you guys, who struck you when you saw them at the end of the career in a different uniform and it just kind of broke your heart to see? Fish?
I got two for you. Almost the same type of story. Dallas Cowboys, Tony Dorsett finished his career in Denver, which was crazy.
That was rough.
And Emmett Smith finishing his career in Arizona.
Yeah.
To see either one of those guys wearing any uniform besides the Cowboys, all the greatness that
unbelievable.
I mean, you got to work, and you know, I understand, but that was a bummer. I mean, Zeke, some people sort of compare him to that a little bit. It's not the same level. I mean, because those guys won championships in Dallas.
Yeah, they were legacy players that should have finished their careers there.
Right.
Yeah.
All-time leading rusher finishing his career in a different uniform was crazy to me. That's definitely two that come to mind for me.
Yeah, absolutely. That was very sad. And, you know, what made it even sadder is they weren't the same player. You know, I think that's what makes the difference. If you're like still good, kind of takes the sting off of it, you know. It was heartbreaking seeing Joe Montana leave San Francisco and go to Kansas City, but he was still bad to the bone, you know, before he retired.
Game.
Yeah. Yep. All right, Skinner.
But you just stole my thunders, Joe
I'm
Montana.
sorry, brother.
That's all right. You knew I was coming out the gate with him. That's okay.
But he played great, though.
As a San Francisco 49er fan and an admiration beyond belief of Joe Montana that I was as a kid, it hurt like hell to watch him in a Kansas City uniform.
Yeah, I'll bet it
whether
did.
He was successful or not. And there's those in New England, the chowderheads, that'll say the same thing about Tom Brady.
Yep.
He had no business being in Tampa Bay. Now, we all know Tom Brady went and won a Super Bowl there, and he did what he did.
But he should have retired a Patriot,
He should have retired as a Patriot.
Yeah.
And God knows he shouldn't have came back this past season to play. But with that being said, the chowderheads are going to say the same thing. There's no way he should have been playing in any other uniform than a Patriots uniform.
Yeah.
And you can go on to all the other sports, especially in baseball. I mean, when was the last time you saw a baseball player play their entire career?
Doesn't happen.
It's been since what? Derek Jeter, and he's been out of the league how many years?
Yeah,
before that, I think it was Tony Gwynn, the late Tony Gwynn in San Diego back in the 80s and 90s.
Well, let's talk about the saddest case. Watching Michael Jordan in a Washington
Michael Jordan
Wizards
was another one. Yeah,
that should have never happened.
Yeah.
No,
but I'm going to disagree with you, though, about Tom Brady. I had this argument with a guy in my church yesterday. Tom Brady threw for 5,000 yards last season. I don't know what games you guys were watching. Tom Brady played great last year. Tom Brady had a horrible offensive line and no running game. And if Tom Brady comes back and goes to the Miami Dolphins, you're going to see, and everybody's going to regret it. Tom Brady is still Tom Brady.
Did you not watch Tom Brady in his last game that he did play?
Did you not watch that offensive line and no running game either?
That man couldn't hit a broadside of a barn if he was 2 feet in front of it.
No, who could when you're running for your life and got no time to throw?
I like to agree to disagree, but I understand your point. I do.
All right, if he comes back, he'll make all you guys look silly. You know what? I don't want to hear your mouth about Tom Brady because you're a Tom Brady hater. So nothing anybody say is
it's not even a hater. He just needs to go away. We want to see the young
kids. Why
you
got to go away, man?
He's done. He's washed up. He has been.
No, he's not.
He's a has-been. He's 45 going on 90 years old. Come on now.
Just stop.
If you're listening to this right now, this is a new episode. You've heard this exact same argument at least in prior episodes, almost word for word.
Okay, all right, guys. Okay, real quick, this day in music. Just a couple interesting tidbits I saw made me think. Man, I didn't even realize this, but in 2015 on this day, drummer for the band Twisted Sister, AJ Perrott, passed away of an apparent heart attack. Of course, they were, hit the scene with the song "We're Not Going to Take It," the extreme makeup, the crazy videos, the guy from Animal House. Just a weird.
Who doesn't know the name D. Snyder?
Right? Yeah. He was an advocate against the PMRC, Parents Music Resource Center. He hosts still a radio show, metal radio show to this day.
Mm-hmm.
And they were different. And that first album has some tremendous songs on there. The Price is still one of my favorite songs of all time.
Yeah.
And AJ Perro, man, that really sucked. Saw this about 1990. Gloria Estefan's tour bus was rammed by a tractor trailer on the way to a concert. Her son and husband were injured, and she suffered a back injury, and she needed operation 2 days later. But what made me think about it is like, wow, I remember Gloria Estefan the group was called Miami Sound Machine. Then the name had a huge big hit. Love that song, forget the name of it, but they began to call it Gloria Estefan and Miami Sound Machine. And I saw that writing on the wall. Then it was just Gloria Estefan on her own, of course she went on to have a huge career. A lot of people left their bands and it didn't work out quite the way they did, but some did, and it was the greatest move in the world. I'm gonna name a couple, and if you guys you can comment on that, or if you think of somebody that was on your mind. But one of the greatest moves I thought, because one of the greatest careers ever, when Lionel Richie left the Commodores.
Yeah.
It was one of the most brilliant moves in music because the Commodore stayed relevant and it still had hits. What was it? Night Moves? Is that the name of the song? I'm gonna get the name of it, but they had some great hits afterwards. But Lionel Richie, one of the greatest songwriters in the history of all music. When you're a black R&B soul artist and you get honored on a country music show, you're a songwriter. I was watching one of the country. Yeah, he is just tremendous. I love his music. I love his voice. But I thought that was one of the most brilliant moves in music. Skinner, comments on that, or can you think of somebody who left an already legendary group and went on to have a great career?
Oh, there's several, but yeah, I think Lionel Richie, he's cream of the crop when it comes to that. His songwriting ability is just absolutely incredible. But the first one to come to mind would be Mr. Phil Collins.
Yeah, I was thinking that. My
from
goodness,
Genesis, and
what a career!
Heart. He's
like Lionel Richie. Yeah,
he's up there with Lionel Richie as far as songwriting, but his health is really bad, and I feel it prayers to him and his family. I hope somehow, some way he can recover. I guess he fell, and it's just been downhill from there. But,
I saw him on stage, and the thing it was just bad. It broke my
terrible.
Heart.
And
phenomenal drummer, phenomenal singer.
Right. Another one comes to mind is Dave Grohl. Started with Nirvana and went on to play with the Foo Fighters.
Yeah, and his story's unique because he started off as a drummer
with
and
Nirvana.
Now he's a lead singer, guitar player, songwriter.
Right.
That's amazing.
So the talent that man possesses.
He's a man and producer. He's amazing. Yeah. Absolutely. Good call. Fish?
Well, similar to some people were asked to leave the bands, like Ozzy comes to mind, asked to leave Black Sabbath and had a great solo career, obviously.
Right.
But
that backfired on him.
Yeah. How about Michael Jackson leaving the Jackson 5? I mean, probably.
Oh my God! Great call, man. Great call. Yeah,
that's a good one.
Well, you can't get any bigger than that. You leave a legendary Hall of Fame group to become the greatest in your field. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. You don't even think about that one. That was a great move. I can't imagine what he went through with his brothers in those early years of success. I know there had to be such jealousy and envy. I'm sure there was. Sometimes you got to go your own way. That's all there is. You got to forge your own path. And people get upset with you when you're not bringing that gravy train with you. I remember when Steve Perry left Journey.
Yeah.
Well, actually, not left Journey. He went off to do a solo album. He told Journey, he's just taking some time to do a solo album. And then Oh Sherry was a hit. It wasn't a hit for long, but it was a hit. I remember seeing an interview with Neil Sean. and he was livid. He was like, that could have been a Journey song. If you're gonna do something, solo, do something different. I was like, wow, people get upset. You stop that money train from going on, but hey, it is what it is. Sometimes you got to do that thing that. I've been in bands where I'm not suggesting this and suggesting that, and people might not be feeling it. And I'm like, I want to give somebody feeling what I'm doing. I did a show Saturday night. But like I told you, my singer did double duty. He sang with us. He played bass in his original band. And his guitar player came up to me afterwards. He's like, man, dude, I love the way you play. You're so in the pocket. I got some R&B stuff I want to do, man. I can't do it with these guys, man. Would you be interested? So he's obviously feeling some stuff that he's been wanting to do, and they can't follow or fill his needs. And that's just the way it is sometimes. Sometimes you have great success and sometimes you don't. So great stuff, guys. That's all I got. Take it away.
Skinner, it's like that time that Keith was trying to do that one podcast. Nothing but it came from Bad Company. That was it. Was talking about Bad Company. That's
right.
Bad Company history, song by song.
Yeah. That didn't work out so good.
That's where we were last week. Actually, we didn't tell you guys that, right? So Keith tried to pilot it. It came from Bad Company podcast, and here we are again.
Right back at it.
Back with you guys.
That quickly talk about capital punishment and football, stuff like that. So yep.
Skinner's going to leave us and do his own show. It's going to be called All Things Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. Everything. Every body of work.
Yep.
Cameos, movies.
Yep. Everything.
Voices.
That's right.
Impressions. The whole thing. Yeah.
He's going to have Nick Cage impressionist on his show.
That's right.
Production's about to begin pretty soon.
He's going to do his show from a cage.
I like that. Yeah. Cage from a cage, Keith.
Yes.
Oh, I like this. It writes itself, I think.
Yeah, it writes itself, don't it? I got tons of them.
Are you taking notes, somebody?
All right, how about some pop culture? Take it away, hey, Fish.
Monopoly's been good to me. Very, very good.
All right, so we're shooting this on Monday, March the 20th. So not yesterday, but last Sunday was the Oscars, the 95th Academy Awards. Did you watch it, Keith?
No.
Yep. Skinner, did you watch any of it?
Not a second.
Okay. I tend to watch the Oscars. I don't know. I like the movies. And,
I thought the chances of a second person getting slapped were very nil. So
yes, very, very nil. I will say, there's definitely, some people, like and dislike Jimmy Kimmel. I get it. He definitely has his political beliefs, but he was a pretty good host. I mean, if go back and listen to his monologue, it's out there on YouTube. He
upset a lot of people.
He did. He got on the Academy for not nominating any female directors.
Mm-hmm.
Not nominating a couple movies that they directed. They had no awards. And he really knocked the Academy for not doing anything during that telecast with Will Smith. It was very strange and bizarre. So he touched on that a few times, so but there were a lot of interesting. Yeah, that was pretty good. I like the fact that he kind of called some of that stuff out. So there were definitely some good moments throughout the telecast. I thought that the memorial was very, very good with Lenny Kravitz getting up there playing piano, just a stellar performance, and that was a very nice moment. We did have some firsts in the Oscars. So the first actress of Asian descent won the Academy Award, Michelle Yeoh, for Everything Everywhere All at Once, and that was the huge winner of the show.
Yeah,
so
big time. I'm a huge fan of hers.
Yes, absolutely. Great movie. I watched this over the summer. I've been telling you guys and others, hey,
Oh,
check
you
this
saw that
movie out.
movie?
I did.
Is it good? That good?
It is good.
Okay.
Matter of fact, Allie and I went to rent it. I rented it for a few bucks over the summer on normal rental. Okay, because I heard a lot of good things about it, and Allie and I went to watch it this past weekend, and now you could only buy it again now for $20. So they
Oh,
really
wow.
took advantage of the awards, and it'll come
Yeah.
back down eventually. So
Yeah.
when you're able to see it, it's definitely worth a watch. It's a whole
I
multiverse.
planned on it.
Yeah, for sure, definitely worth checking out. So it won a lot. It won Best Picture,
Yeah.
Best Director, Co-Directors, Best Actress in Michelle Yeoh, Best Supporting Actress in Jamie Lee
Jamie.
Curtis,
Yeah.
and K.Y. Kwan, excuse me, I'm mispronouncing his name a little bit. He won Best Supporting Actor for that movie. And it won some other awards as well. I think a Best Adapted. No, it wasn't an adaptive screenplay. A couple other things as well. So, anyways, it was a good movie. And Brendan Fraser won Best Actor for The Whale.
That's what I want to talk about.
Yeah, Allie and I watched that movie Saturday night. Actually, if you have not seen this movie, it's very powerful. Definitely worth a watch. It is not a feel-good story, but it's a very moving, tragic story. And Brendan Fraser was fabulous.
Excellent.
Fabulous. If you would anything goofy or anything that he played in his career,
Which has been
George in the
everything.
Jungle, yeah, it's just the polar opposite for him. Just extraordinary performance, so definitely worth checking out. But like I said, it's one you sort of have to come down from. It's it's going to resonate with you for a little bit.
Wow.
Especially if you yourself have any self-destructive tendencies or something like that, or something that you may have thought about or seen others in your life kind of battle. It does kind of hit in many levels in that respect. So yeah, definitely worth checking out. So, but yeah, so the Oscars are huge. I did see a couple of the Best Picture films, but not all. But I mean, if you guys didn't watch it, there's probably not a whole lot else to mention. But
I have a lot to say.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, if I was disappointed about not doing the show last week, that was the reason why I had a lot to say about the Oscars.
Go for it, please.
I didn't watch the actual show. I watched a lot of the highlights online and things like that. First, I want to say this. One reason I don't like the Oscars. Now, I don't know who what the Oscar panel looks like, but they strike me as if some old people, kind of get off my lawn types. And I see this trend in the movies that get not just nominated but win. I think the Oscar needs more categories. It's so much international stuff that, in my opinion, takes up space, if you will. They should have more categories for and don't get me wrong, they've got, your science fiction and all that, but they need more categories. Like, even if you're looking at Best Actor or Best Actress, I would like to see a category of Best Actor and Best Actress in non-fiction film or science fiction films, or you know what I'm trying to say, and movies that aren't so serious or so deep.
They did that, actually. That was how they started. They did that. They had separate categories like that, but then they decided to blend it because they did not want to separate. They wanted just to recognize the top acting performances. But see, that's what they said anyway.
My biggest disappointment of the entire night, I called it when I saw that movie. When I came home from Black Panther, I said, you know what, guys? My girl was outstanding in that movie. And I was dead on the money. Angela Bassett was nominated for an Oscar for a superhero movie. That's how good you are. If you get nominated for an Oscar for a superhero movie, man, I was so disappointed she did not win. Now, in all fairness, I did not see Jamie Lee Curtis's performance. I want to see this movie. I'm sure she was great. Big fan of hers.
She was good. Yeah.
But I really feel Angela Bassett should have won an Oscar. I thought Chadwick Boseman should have won. You know, a couple years ago he got robbed. But anyway, that was very disappointing for me. In all fairness, I definitely want to see Jamie Lee Curtis' performance. Also, the Brendan Fraser.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't have been happier for this guy. He has been through so much in his health. He aged almost overnight, it looked like. His weight almost doubled overnight. And he's been through crap. And the reason why I was so happy for this guy, I read these internet entertainment periodicals, and they have a section that they always talk about of people who have been shunned in Hollywood, blacklisted, can't get a job. I can't tell you how many years his name has popped up on that list recently. And you haven't seen him in anything.
Right.
So to see him win an Oscar the other night, I was so excited. And I can't wait to see the movie because I've never seen this guy play in anything that wasn't goofy or sci-fi. So I was really, really, really excited for him about that. Michelle Yeoh, big fan of hers. Everything she does is great. She's an amazing actress. She's done some great sci-fi movies. The martial arts movie with the sword, I think a Sword of Destiny.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
One called The Sword of Destiny too, I think. Also, she was she amazing on Star Trek Discovery. Man, she plays that role. So she's very, very versatile. I was really happy for her. But I would have loved to see Angela Bassett walk out with something. And you know what? It was shocking that Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford, has never won an Oscar.
Oh, you're right. No, he hasn't. You're right. Yep.
That is amazing to me. So, but anyway, those are my thoughts on the Oscar. I just wish there were I don't think movies like Black Panther or people in those movies stand a chance against some of these drama movies and international films. I don't believe these people in the Academy even watch their performances. They hear that they were great. I just have a hard time believing that they actually watch the performances, and I think they would have a much fairer shot if they kind of separated them back a little bit. You said they started that. I'd like to see that happen again. But glad for Brendan Fraser. Those are my thoughts.
So you talk about.
Go ahead, Skinner.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
You go ahead.
So you're talking about Angela Bassett in a superhero movie.
And I want to say this: she has been robbed. If that woman didn't get an Oscar for playing Tina Turner and What's Love Got to Do with It?
I got you. Yeah, no.
One of the greatest roles ever.
My point is, go back to 2008. What superhero movie came out in 2008, and everyone, including myself, said he should, at the very minimum, be nominated. Was Robert Downey Jr.
Yes.
For Iron Man.
Yeah.
And he didn't even get a nomination.
Yeah. So
I get what you're saying. I didn't see the movie, so I don't know how good Angela Bassett was. But when you talk about superhero movie, I go back to 2008 when he should have been nominated, and some would say he was so good at that role. And you can say that today, 15 years later. That man was so good at that role, he should have won an Oscar and didn't even get a nomination. So I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, he was.
Along with what you're saying.
And in my opinion, Angela Bassett was greater than that in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
Okay.
Yeah, she was good. You're right. It was it was an opportunity if the performances were even close to, I don't want to say legitimize, but it would have definitely sent a message that you can act in a superhero movie like this and still be recognized for your acting accomplishment.
I think that strengthens that genre. It strengthens that industry, and it needs that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, she won the Golden Globe, which is nice, Angela Bassett, but obviously this would have taken it to a whole other level.
Absolutely.
And you're right, too. I mean, that movie was great, but you're right that sometimes it does feel like in any given year, like a movie hits like that, and it seems like just a big movie will tend to run away with multiple awards where it's like, has a feeling like you say that,
Yeah.
The group just really resonated with that particular movie and just, rattles off all the awards for.
And I'm tired of
I don't
movies
know.
winning that nobody watches. Look at these movies that win and they don't sell nowhere near some of these other movies that, for that alone, they should get some kind of recognition. I mean, are you crazy?
Yeah. I will
look,
say, go ahead.
Yeah, I just like some of these the movie sales, they don't even compare.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I will say for everything everyone wants, it is a strange, bizarre, science fiction-y movie for sure. It's definitely one of my more favorite Best Picture movies of all time, frankly. But yeah, anyway. Okay, so let's get on with some other stuff here in the world of pop culture. So, well, we haven't been together in a couple of weeks here when we do a little bit of Gen X recommendations. If you happen to have seen or heard or anything that you care to recommend to our viewers on YouTube and Boss Code or listeners on podcast. Keith, do you have anything you watched that you want to recommend or not so much this week?
Oh yeah, there's a series on Netflix, came out about 3-4 years ago. It was a Netflix series, one season. I thought it was amazing. I didn't think they would ever do another season. COVID hit, and it's been about 3 years, and boom, they shocked everybody. Season 2 appeared last week. Series called Shadow and Bone.
Okay.
And it is just utterly amazing. It's about a young woman. She grew up in an orphanage with her best friend. And it's set back in like what would be, I don't know, maybe 1700s in our world. But this is a made up world. And there are two countries, and they're separated by a giant black wall called the Fold. And there's sand on the ground, but to travel through the Fold, you have to travel on a giant ship on skiffs. And very few people go from one nation to the other one because inside the Fold are these creatures that fly and grab people off the boats, and they're dangerous and they're hard to kill. And it's very dangerous to travel from one country to the other one. One country is more of a military, poor people, and then the other country is more of a royalty type of side. And some children are born with these gifts. Some of them can make shapes out of things. Some are telekinetic, and some are called heart renderers. They can make people's heart speed up, pass out, things like that. And there's one girl, she's what they call a sunbender. And they don't know because she stows away on the ship because her best friend's in the military. And when these creatures come to take them away, her powers come out. She makes just this bright sunlight, killed all the monsters. And by the time she gets to the other side, she goes from being an orphan to a princess. Gets all made up, gets taught, how to be a lady, and she becomes a beautiful princess. And of course, she finds out that the guy who's been grooming her, the prince, he's the evil man who actually created the Fold. And so she escapes back through the Fold to the other side. She becomes a legend. People love her, but she's also been accused of conspiring with the evil guy. And it is just a marvelous, marvelous story. You guys will absolutely love it. So check out Shadow and Bone. And I just finished season 2 of Carnival Row on Amazon Prime. Wow, that's all I can say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Orlando
Skinner?
Bloom, really good stuff. Yeah.
Sorry, anything else, Keith?
No, Picard season 3 still blowing my mind. Every episode they brought in somebody from the past. They're pulling out all the stops. This has been incredible.
Okay. Very
no
good.
mention of 24 this week. I'm kind of disappointed.
No mention of 24.
Skinner, anything while you've been sick? You watch anything or not so much?
Unfortunately, I haven't gotten to see a whole lot, but I did start a documentary, the Malaysian flight back in 2014 that just fell off the radar.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix. It's called MH 370 Hang on a second. I'm sorry. MH370, the plane that disappeared.
Okay.
Very interesting. I don't know if you
Hey,
guys
I've been wanting to
know
watch
or remember
that.
that story. It actually was back on March 8th of 2014 was the day that flight that this took place in history. So I'm only a couple episodes in. I watched. I got to rewatch one of the episodes. The last episode I watched because of I told you before things have been pretty crazy here at the house
Right.
before we started. But if you're interested in that kind of this is real life sci-fi kind of thing.
Mhm.
You're interested in I'm obviously Air Force, so anything with aircraft I'm extremely interested in. Just the fact that this plane just vanished in thin air is just
Amazing. Like the show Manifest.
mind blowing. Yeah, exactly. So I'm curious to see how this all ends up, and but yeah, that's about all I can recommend at this point.
Okay.
Just a couple fast things here. Mandalorian season 3 and
Oh God, yes.
Disney Plus 3 episodes in. Very, very good. I mean, so far so good. The underlying, the second storyline, very interesting. Kind of setting up the sequels. You wonder how the New Republic sort of got off kilter and how the New Order can rise up there. You got to kind of getting some storylines around that. So it was very, very interesting. I watched Luther on Netflix. Luther is Idris Elba.
Never
I didn't
watched that.
realize this. You know what? It was a series, which I didn't realize, on the BBC for several seasons. I guess
Long
you could
time,
find it.
yeah.
This is a movie, though. This is a new movie that just dropped.
I saw it. I thought it was just a series.
So it's the same character. You know what? If you didn't watch, I didn't know the series even existed. I picked up on it just fine. So it's Andy Serkis is a different role for him. He's a psychopathic killer, and Idris Elba is kind of a down and out detective, sort of trying to catch him. A lot of interesting, it's just very, very good. So check it out.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, worth a watch. Already mentioned The Whale. You can rent that on Amazon Prime and other streaming services for around $5-6. Like I said, definitely worth a watch to check out Brendan Fraser's performance in itself. And I watched another movie also available for rent for just a few bucks, Triangle of Sadness. So I'd heard of the movie. I had no idea what it was about, really, other than kind of reading the description of it. And a very interesting, thought-provoking, dark comedy.
The plane that disappeared.
Okay.
Very interesting. I don't know if you guys know or remember that story. It actually was back on March 8th of 2014 was the day that flight that this took place in history. So I'm only a couple episodes in. I watched. I got to rewatch one of the episodes. The last episode I watched because of I told you before things have been pretty crazy here at the house before we started. But if you're interested in that kind of this is real life sci-fi kind of thing, you're interested in I'm obviously Air Force, so anything with aircraft I'm extremely interested in. Just the fact that this plane just vanished in thin air is just
amazing. Like the show Manifest.
Mind blowing. Yeah, exactly. So I'm curious to see how this all ends up, and but yeah, that's about all I can recommend at this point.
Okay.
Just a couple fast things here. Mandalorian season 3 and Disney Plus 3 episodes in. Very, very good. I mean, so far so good. The underlying, the second storyline, very interesting. Kind of setting up the sequels. You wonder how the New Republic sort of got off kilter and how the New Order can rise up there. You got to kind of getting some storylines around that. So it was very, very interesting. I watched Luther on Netflix. Luther is Idris Elba. I didn't realize this. You know what? It was a series, which I didn't realize, on the BBC for several seasons. I guess you could find it.
Yeah.
This is a movie, though. This is a new movie that just dropped.
I saw it. I thought it was just a series.
So it's the same character. You know what? If you didn't watch, I didn't know the series even existed. I picked up on it
Really?
just fine. So it's
Yeah.
Andy Serkis is a different role for him. He's a psychopathic killer, and Idris Elba is kind of a down and out detective, sort of trying to catch him. A lot of interesting, it's just very, very good. So check it out.
Okay,
So,
cool.
yeah, worth a watch. Already mentioned The Whale. You can rent that on Amazon Prime and other streaming services for around $5-6. Like I said, definitely worth a watch to check out Brendan Fraser's performance in itself. And I watched another movie also available for rent for just a few bucks, Triangle of Sadness. So I'd heard of the movie. I had no idea what it was about, really, other than kind of reading the description of it. And a very interesting, thought-provoking, dark comedy. Woody Harrelson has a bit part in this. Everybody else was, I think, relatively newer, and I didn't recognize any of them. But it kind of centers around a couple who are a male and female model, and they, they're having some struggles. They go on this luxury cruise, and things go sideways, and just some very interesting things happen. So I definitely got sucked into this storyline. Worth a watch if you want something, like I say, dark comedy and something just different than you probably have seen in quite a while. Triangle of Sadness. Definitely not what you're expecting. Absolutely. Okay. And then a very interesting documentary on Netflix. I'm not much of a golf fan per se, but Nick from Convincing Idiots turned me on to this here.
Good.
Full swing, yeah. So it's a interesting documentary, like 8 episodes, focuses on a different golfer almost every episode. Talk about the Live tournament, and he talk about guys who are at the top of his game and guys who used to be that kind of are falling off. And there's the whole mental struggle and all that. So it definitely gives you a lot of different aspects of a professional golfer. Very interesting to check out. Full swing. Okay. So we did have a death in the world of pop culture, guys. Here, Lance Reddick passed away recently, 60 years of age. He starred in The Wire, and if you are a fan, as I am, of the Jonathan Wick. Am I saying it right here? Is it Jonathan Wick? No, I'm not saying that right. John Wick. Not John Wick, not Jonathan Wick.
John
Wick movie series of Keanu Reeves. He plays the guy that works in the hotel, like the guy that runs the front desk and all that. Very, very cool role. I liked him in that. So, Keith, any thoughts on Mr. Reddick?
He's one of those guys that I couldn't tell you his name for $1 million. Never been what you call a lead role, but everything he's been in, he's been good at. He's got that look. He's got that voice. I've always enjoyed him. And, these small roles here and there or minor roles that he's played. Definitely was cool in John Wick. I've seen him in so many things, and I couldn't name one. But he's had that second, third role in so many movies and shows. But really, really always enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. Skinner, are you familiar with Lance Reddick?
I am not familiar with those series and movies that you're talking about, so I'm not quite certain as to who you're referring to.
That's right. Watch the John Wick series anyway. They're very, very good. There's 3 of them. It's a continuous storyline, and the new movie comes in the theater, John Wick 4.
And you can play a nice game with yourself and try to figure out how many people can you kill in one movie. Kill Bill ain't got nothing on this.
Oh, yeah. You're right about that. Keanu Reeves is very, very cool.
That says a lot,
man. Like I said, it's one continuous story, one movie after the other. I think they're all on HBO Max right now.
Yeah.
So you can check them out there. So, okay. And then this past weekend here, guys. So, again, the Oscars were last week, but yesterday, I guess, was the Mark Twain Honors. What the heck do they call it here? Mark Twain Prize for American Humor. So it was at the Washington's Kennedy Center. Adam Sandler won the award this past weekend. Many big name presenters: Drew Barrymore, Conan O'Brien, Chris Rock, Jennifer Aniston, Steve Buscemi, Dana Carvey, Luis Guzman gave
Wow.
testimonials for Adam Sandler. So Judd Apatow. So in the world of comedy, I mean, it doesn't get a whole lot more esteem to win that
Yeah,
particular
that's crazy.
award. So, and he's got a very extensive career. Obviously, he got to start on Saturday Night Live. He had some very good appearances and good characters and many, many good skits, in my opinion, on that show. Then just a plethora, as we know, of movies. Some very good. Others could be, just described as, garbage, in my opinion,
Right.
that he's made. But it just got me thinking about, with such an extensive library spanning many, many years, I'm interested, what are your top 3 to 5 Adam Sandler movies of all time? So, Skinner, would you give me your top 3? No particular order. Just any you wish to name. What you believe is some of his better work, in your opinion?
Well, I've actually got 5 real quick. Number 5 is
Okay.
Grown Ups. It was a pretty all-star cast with Grown Ups, and the music was phenomenal. If you remember the movie, there's a lot of 80s reference music in there. Number 4 for me is a newer one. It came out in 2022. The movie is called Hustle. It's on Netflix, I believe.
I want to see that.
And he is a scout, an agent for a basketball, and very, very good, very compelling movie. He plays a role that he's not normally playing, which is a serious role. He did very well. 50 First Dates with
Drew Barrymore.
Barrymore. Funny movie. That's a go-to movie in our house. That we just something that needs to be on. Waterboy number 2 for me. Self-explanatory. Great movie. In a bad mood, throw it on there. It's fun. A lot of actors in there. And my all-time favorite comedy. I still to this day cry when Bob Barker gets his ass kicked in the pond. Happy Gilmore. It is the funniest comedy I have ever seen. Hands down, and a lot of good actors. That kind of comedy, I guess. That slapstick humor. I'm big into that. Jim Carrey's in the same genre, but yeah, Happy Gilmore. Man, that movie is just something else.
Wow, that's high praise. Funny.
Yeah, yeah.
The Bob Barker wins that fight, by the way. In that
I was
movie.
about to say, Bob Barker didn't get beat up.
No, but. That scene puts me in a ball in tears, crying from it. Just watching Bob Barker, and he says, "The price is
that
wrong,
shocked everybody."
bitch.
That was see him in that light. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Keith.
Okay. To me, Adam Sandler reminds me a lot of Robin Williams. As amazing as his comedic body of work is, he's outstanding in dramatic roles, with a little bit of humor. So my favorite movie was The Wedding Singer.
Yeah.
I thought that was just a brilliant movie. It was a love story. It was dramatic, and he had his hilarious moments too in that, the Adam Sandler. That would probably be my number 1 movie. I enjoyed some of his just stupid slapstick. The Waterboy and Happy Gilmore. I put those 2 together. And number 2, I thought Big Daddy was also one of his better movies. And you know what? One movie that I don't know why I didn't get the praise it should have, but I enjoyed Chuck and Larry. I thought that was a really good movie too.
I know introduced Chuck.
But as stupid as it was, I thought it was so funny and entertaining. I like Don't Mess with the Zohan. I kind of got a kick out of that movie. Just the way he was. I know a lot of Arab people over here in this neighborhood, and the way they take to certain things like disco and urban stuff, I kind of got what he was saying with that, and I thought that was a really good movie. So those are the ones that stick out to me. But I think my favorite one would be The Wedding Singer.
Yeah. Very, very good. So, we're overlapping here. No surprise. So, I have Click though on my list. I like Click. That's the one when he finds that like kind of that sort of like magical remote control that he can
I never
fast
saw that.
forward. It's an interesting
good
movie.
one.
Yeah, you can
Okay.
fast forward or rewind things in his life.
Wow, that sounds interesting.
Of course, he messed things up eventually. But
Yeah.
I also had Big Daddy Keith. I thought that was one of his earlier ones.
Yeah.
It showed was a different, warmer side of him. Playing,
Definitely.
adopting that kid. I also have the Water Boy. Just like you say, just the overall goofiness of that movie is funny. Henry Winkler as the coach is great.
Yeah.
The Wedding Singer again. And I have Happy Gilmore. So it is. I wouldn't say it's my favorite comedy of all time, personally, but it is funny and probably in my opinion, his funniest overall comedy for.
Yeah. It was just so stupid.
Factors.
It was hysterical, right?
Yes, that's exactly right. You knew exactly what you're going to get. You're not looking for any award winner there with these couple.
Yeah, it ain't a Caddyshack or Trading Places or nothing like that, but it was still great.
And he wasn't trying too hard. He was definitely being Adam Sandler.
And I think that's what's important.
Sandler.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why it was so good, truthfully.
Yeah, and the supporting people, like you said, the scene with Bob Barker was fantastic. And then Carl Weathers was great.
Yeah.
The guy who played Scooter McGavin was funny. Just a lot of different things in that movie were very, very good. So, matter of fact, he uses that. I think it is
Oscar winner Kathy Bates.
Yeah.
Oh, Waterboy, yeah.
Oh, Waterboy, yeah.
Yeah.
Is his mom. Yeah.
Yeah, she did well.
Good stuff. Okay. I'm checking the time here. There's a restaurant here, guys, in Denver. Caught my eye. So, scorpion tamales and grasshopper tacos are on the menu in this particular restaurant. It's known for one of the best restaurants, apparently, in America, in Denver. So it's scorpion tamales made with chocolate and pineapple, red worm, tostadas, bone marrow with garlic roasted grasshoppers, and ant larvae tacos. And you can look this up here and see pictures of stuff like that. The one it's literally like a chocolate covered scorpion. It's no doubt what it is. So Jose Avila, he's a James Beard, I guess it's a highly esteemed nominated chef at La Diabla Pozole Mezcal in downtown Denver. So he first teased the guests anyway. So it's making quite the name for itself, as you might imagine. So people are coming to try it, just to try something different and everything. Some people, they grew up, eating insects for different reasons, I guess. In the region, or I don't know. I think it's it might have been more prominent, as I would imagine, in Mexico to eat insects. I'm sure they're just I don't know, for various reasons. So anyway, this kind of got me thinking a little bit there too. So, would you try one of these? And have you ever tried anything like? So, what's one of the more exotic things that you may have tried to eat, whether you liked it or disliked it here in general? So, first of all, would you try these? And then, have you eaten anything similar that would be described as exotic, perhaps? Skinner, how about you?
I'm trying to go into the think tank when you had mentioned that before, because I've been all over the world with the Air Force. I was going
to say, you've been around. You probably tried something.
A lot of stuff with goat cheese, a lot of stuff with goat milk, especially in the Middle East.
Oh, that ain't exotic. Come on, you can do better than that.
They have that here in the United States.
You ain't had no yak nuts, nothing like that.
Yeah, no. They actually frowned upon a lot of the local stuff, just because even though we were vaccinated to boost our immune systems, very careful on what you ate, because people get sick because you're not used to the stuff in there. One thing that I always tell a story about is when you go on a cruise, especially when you go to the formal dinner at night, they have something that they serve you that you're not going to have on a daily basis. One night was escargot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And I
Snails.
ordered the escargot, and Miss Marcy sat across from me, and she took a bite of this thing, and I had to move because that stuff comes spitting out her mouth. It's the funniest damn story. And I finished the dish because I actually enjoyed it. But it's
Really?
not for the fainted heart. Yeah, if snails, escargot, I mean, it's...
More
and
power
it's
to
not
you,
something
brother.
I would normally. My palate's not very sophisticated, but it's better than most. But escargot would probably be the best thing, the most exotic thing that I've had.
Would you try the insects in this restaurant?
I think I would, truthfully.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I've done a lot of stuff overseas that most people would not. Again, trying to go back 30 years from when I was in the military is kind of hard to do, but nothing jumps out at me. But yeah, I would definitely try some of that stuff that you were referring to earlier.
Okay.
Why not?
Sure.
Wow.
Not going to hurt you.
Keith, what do you think? Would you try these?
No.
And what's
No.
There was no hesitation with that answer.
And no. You didn't hear me. To be such an adventurous guy, I pride myself on having just trying things in life. And maybe I was told I not supposed to or should have, have changed my life. I love trying different things that might not be in my purview, if you will, for lack of better words. I'm so glad I did. I played hockey one year. I did this, I did that. And, I like trying different things. I'm saying, I'm going to try being on the radio station. And I did. I hosted University of Akron's radio show for 2 years and their sports TV show. Had no idea how that would come in handy. Look, here we are. But no, when it comes to food, I'm real conservative like that. So no, and it's not an exotic food, but I would say the craziest thing I did when I was a drinker, I did eat the worm, or should I say eat it, swallowed it, a bottle of Moscow one time. That won't ever happen again. That's about as far as it gets for me, guys. I'm just real.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's stuff I've tried. I mean, on that cruise we were on Skinner, I tried the snail. At there was a dinner, they had that as an appetizer option or something like that. So Peyton and I both tried it. It was fine. It was okay.
Yeah.
I've tried gator before, which is just kind of chewy. It was fine. It was pretty
Tastes
good.
like chicken.
Yeah.
Don't at all.
Things. Yeah. And when I try these, the chocolate covered scorpion, that's a tough one maybe to try, but I don't know. I feel like I would probably try it. I would imagine there's not a whole lot to it, on its own. It's probably not that much. It's a high protein, insect or animal, I guess. I don't know. So I would try it out. I think if I'm not mistaken, there's a place here locally in Medina, Sweets and Geeks. They have all kinds of unique candies and sodas and stuff like that. So first of all, if you're in this area and never been, go check them out. I think they may have some of that type of stuff as well, as far as like chocolate covered insects and stuff like that are prepackaged that you can try. Yeah. So
if you guys ever see the internet video, I'll find it if you have it. It is amazing. I forget what country it is, but it's this area of a swampy area. The mosquitoes are so thick, and they just capture thousands of them at once and make them into a patty and eat them. They are like burgers. Yeah, it's amazing to watch.
No, thank you. Yeah,
yeah, no thanks.
Yikes. Yeah. Well,
yeah,
we get together to shoot Cage in a Cage. We'll get some chocolate covered insects and maybe just try it out for a unique episode. Yeah. Okay, let's look at some pop culture history here, guys. Some significant events of pop culture that happened this week throughout the years. March the 19th, back in 1935, was World Monopoly Day. So this was the day recognized as the launch of the game Monopoly. So It is now licensed in 13 countries and printed in 37 different languages. And so they've added different pieces over the years and replaced some. So obviously just been a staple in board game playing for many, many
Without
years.
question.
Certainly it was started during the Depression era, in part, I think, to help, just try to help people feel rich and stuff like that. So definitely a game I'm sure we've all played at one point or another over the years. So one more discussion topic this evening here, guys, here just got me thinking about, in general, is the family or friend game night, is that something that you still like to do? Is it something that's sort of a lost, I don't want to say a lost art, but is it sort of, past? Or no, it's still a prevalent thing that people enjoy? Do you yourself enjoy it? And then on top of that, we'll get into what are some of your favorite games to play over the years with friends, family, and all that. So first of all, just Skinner, just in general, family and friend game nights, is that something that you have enjoyed, you still enjoy? Is it something that's sort of becoming a forgotten thing with all the things to do and social media and video games and stuff like that? So what are your thoughts on just game nights in general?
It's funny you brought this story up because just this past Saturday we had game night at Fornash's house.
Nice.
And we get together with them once a month, and we do one month we play Hold'em poker. Next night, the next night we play board games. So we actually played a version of Farkle is the name of the game. It's a dice game similar to Yahtzee, and we played that this past weekend. We'll play Uno, or we'll play a version of it's called Politically Incorrect. It's along the lines of the Cards Against Humanity.
Okay.
So yeah, we still do board games night with friends and family around here. Every once in a while they'll pick up the Uno cards and we'll sit and play Uno for a couple hours. So it's still pretty prevalent with us, as it should, because it's a good time for laughs and relaxation and families just to spend quality time together.
Yeah, very good. Keith, what do you think?
Well, I'd like to guess that it's still important. People still do it because games are still selling. So I like to believe that a lot of people value that. To me, I love it so much. Every time we have a family get together, we're playing something, and I'll get to our favorite game. I wish I could play more. I'm going to make an effort, whether it's family or friends. I would love to have more game nights. I think it's great. Kind of pulls you away from technology a little bit.
Yeah.
Brings in more laughter, human interaction, connection. I think it's fantastic. I love game night. I love games. I'm not as on top of them as, maybe our friends, the Cooper or you guys. The games I love have been around for a long time. Obviously, Monopoly is a classic. That can go slow, but it's such a classic. You got to love it. One of my favorite games that I played that I love was Balderdash. I love the creativity of just coming up, making up stuff. That is so much fun. And I can't think of that game we all played together at the Coopers the last time. It was funny. We were really embarrassing Marcy with some of the stuff we were coming up with. But might have been Balderdash. But that was really funny.
It was Balderdash.
Okay, yeah. I love Balderdash. One of my favorites. Taboo is a fun one. And no, it's not a board game. My family loves playing charades. I think that's one of the classic, most fun things you could ever do. But as far as board games, our family's go-to game is Scattergories. It is just, I think we have more fun with the crap people come up with that they try to pass off, as being legit than we do with the actual game. One of the classic ones, I'll tell you a quick story, was the category was things found at the beach, and the letter was K, and I put down knees, and it's this big argument broke out. People are at the beach and people have knees. I think I should have got that point. So you just have a lot of fun with that game. But yeah, I just love game night. I wish I could play more. Can't find anybody to play, and of course you got to find the time to play. But Great stuff.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's always an activity I've enjoyed, since I was a kid, and then certainly, having Peyton introducing games with
Mhm.
her. Yeah, I enjoy it, like you say. It's been a long time since I had a game night. Talking about this makes me want to have one soon.
Yeah, with you.
Mhm.
And we've
but
had
like you
some
say,
great ones together, guys.
yeah.
Yes, we
And let's
have.
not forget poker. All-time fun.
Oh yeah, that was some great times with you guys and others over the years. Absolutely. Yeah, it's this thing where it's like you're still interacting with people, but you're using your brain. You get some unexpected humor and stuff like that.
Yes.
So those type of activities for me personally, I mean, I like sitting around with friends and watching movies and enjoying that type of stuff. But you get a game and an activity going like that, I could just go for hours and hours and
me
hours.
too.
And it just flies right on by.
Let's get a game night and let's get a poker night, man, together.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely do that.
So
You
I,
mentioned- Go
real
ahead.
quick, I did a list I wanted to throw out there for you too.
Please.
A classic is Clue. Would be my number 5.
Oh, yeah.
Uno's
That's fun.
on that
It's
list.
fun. Since we're
I'm
kids.
a
Yeah.
huge Scrabble fan.
Mhm.
Yeah. Sorry, all the old stuff.
Yeah, my 2 favorites. My partner in crime, Brian Fisher, is Trivia Pursuit.
Yeah.
Me and Brian are pretty good together with that game over the
I will
years.
take you down.
And my favorite, some will say it's not a board game, but my favorite of all time is Battleship.
Wow.
I've always wanted to play that. And I take my number 1 is chess. It's hard for me to find people to play chess. Love chess.
I love that game too and haven't played it in years. But yeah, Battleship, if you've not played it, shame on you. That is one of my favorite. As a kid and even to this day, I love playing
All right.
Battleship.
Well, school me. Teach me. I want to play.
Yep. Great game. I got a few here on my list as well. So,
Hey, real quick,
Go ahead.
though.
go ahead.
One of the more fun activities that when you're playing is when you can introduce new technology, like a camera that takes 1,000 pictures, and get people to model for you while you play the game. That's always a fun activity, Some of those cameras were amazing when they first came out. I remember getting the first one, 20, 25 years ago. Took like 1,000 pictures and had a model for me while I played poker. It was a lot of fun. It was great activity.
That's right. Yeah. Unlimited film
right.
back then, before digital cameras.
Inside
Absolutely.
joke, people.
That's right. That's right. What is that noise? It's nothing. Don't worry about it. Yeah. The film rewinding.
Don't worry about that.
It's snapping away. That was great. Great evening. I have a picture. I have a picture from that evening still. Or a couple.
That still in development.
No, I still have it. I have a couple pictures from that evening.
Oh, okay.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I'll have to dig them out.
Definitely.
Okay. Yep. So my favorite games personally here, Monopoly, just classic. I also have Balderdash, Keith. That's a great game. I have a version of it called Beyond Balderdash, which is like different.
Yeah, that's the one. Beyond Balderdash is my favorite. Yeah. Thank you.
Because it has the definitions, dates, movie plots.
Right, that's the one. And I don't want to sound snobbish, but it says something about you if you like that game. Everybody can't play that game. I appreciate the friends that I have. You have to have a creative, outgoing mind, being able to think fast on the spot. There's some people I name that game, they're like, they rather have games they can't think about. That you got to think about, but it's so much fun, and I think it says a lot about your friends when you play that game.
That's right. If you're a good bullshitter, you're good at that game.
You basically said what I was saying in a
that's right.
more street way. Thank you.
I also have Trivial Pursuit, Skinner. So love that game. I have different versions of it.
You boys think you hot stuff,
right over
don't
here
you?
behind.
We'll see. We'll see.
I got the 40 over here off camera here. That's a fun version.
Okay.
It has questions from over the years and current questions at the time.
Challenge
so we should do that.
accepted.
Everybody stopped wanting to play that game when me and Fish were partners.
Please stop it. Stop it.
Yeah, that was fun.
Let me give me a partner and take you two down.
I think my favorite game, I picked it up as at random once, and when Peyton was, probably 8, 9, 10-year-old, and Rummy Cube. So it's just a fun version of like Rummy, but with tiles.
Oh,
interesting.
yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Still fun today, and as a little kid, Peyton would kick my butt as a kid. That is a go-to game when I have a game night with Peyton.
Okay.
She's still very, very good at this game. It's definitely a strategy thinking type game. A lot of fun. You can buy it for probably $15 on Amazon right now today.
Okay.
I got it for her when she moved in with Joey as one of her housewarming gifts. So they have some games to play over there. She has to have Rummy Cube in her home. So Rummy Cube, great game.
I played a great game one time too. It was awesome. What Antique Attic Antics? What was that called?
Oh,
Antique Addicts.
Yeah, that was a fantastic game.
Yes, indeed. Hard to find.
I know we can find tons of them.
Yeah.
We've been doing some renovation down here in the basement.
Not anymore.
That's right, not anymore.
You get rid of them. Yeah.
We're doing some renovation down here in the basement with our storage rooms besides my office and bedroom. And we run across a bunch of board games that we don't play anymore. And she's like, can we donate these or this, that, and other? And amongst these two were two sets of Antique Addicts. I said, you cannot throw those away.
Yeah, you can't throw that away, right.
And she goes, yes, I know. I've never played a game and I'm never going to play it, but I know we can't get rid of them.
That's right.
That's like it's not 50 and up. That's for sure.
Right.
No, it's definitely not.
That is true.
And just a couple honorable mentions. Candyland. That's
a fun family game.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I have Peyton's Candyland here behind me, right here behind me. So it's a game we played a lot growing up. It's such a nice game to play with a kid. Very family friendly game.
And how about that one right there on your shoulder, Operation?
Operation.
The game that'll give you a heart attack.
That's right. A stressful game. Sorry, right here is classic.
Sorry, I mentioned Sorry.
Sorry is a great game. Mad Magazine was a lot of fun.
Okay.
And right here, Stratego. Stratego is a great one. It's like a version of a chess type game.
Okay.
A lot of fun. Great game. So yeah, definitely love it and still love it today. So yeah, it's definitely playing a game night here, guys. Okay, a couple more things in pop culture history. 1953 was the first televised Academy Awards. Bob Hope was the first master of ceremonies on NBC, and he hosted it more than 17 times. Yeah, how about that? 1999, on March the 20th, Legoland opened in California. So that just kind of, it's just amazing. We've talked about Legos off and on this show, but it's just amazing what that toy has evolved into over the years. Mm-hmm. Never been to any type of Lego museum. I'd love to see it.
Yeah. One of my students, Noah, he is 14, 15 maybe years old.
Okay.
He has an entire section, I'm talking about multiple shelves in their dining room, dedicated to his Lego work.
Wow.
You would not believe what this kid has created with Lego. He has Death Stars. He has a R2-D2 this big. He has a Batcave, elevator. It is unbelievable. He has done everything from Harry Potter to, I just can't even believe it. It's just amazing. Working guns that you actually put ammo in and fires. All Lego. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, the sets are obviously, like you say, very complex. It's amazing but if you have as we all know, if you have the right Legos and you have the vision and the time, you can build anything.
Yeah, I was happy when I used to make those blocks with the hole in them. Yeah, that was it for me.
Yeah. 1940, on March the 21st, was Alfred Hitchcock's first American film. Yes.
Quick question for you guys. Curveball. You mentioned first Academy Award show.
Yeah.
Who would you like to see host the Oscars? Real quick. If anybody you can pick.
Like current?
Yeah.
Current current celebrities?
Yeah.
That's a tough one. I'm not sure.
I tell you who I want to see. I want to see Dave Chappelle.
Ooh, that would be good.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd agree with you on that.
Yeah, because he would make fun of the event.
Oh gosh, he's sticking up.
You're not gonna run up there and try to hit Dave Chappelle.
No, that's not gonna happen, Captain.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That's a great suggestion. I was thinking like Snoop Dogg, just from a coolness type
I'm
factor,
sick
stuff
of
like that.
Snoop Dogg already.
Yeah, but you're right.
Hey.
Oh, here we go again.
Can we get
Yeah,
a
but
Snoop break? Hey, you
Chappelle
go
would
off
be
about
great.
Tom Brady. I can go off about Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
I'm sick of him. Retire. Go somewhere.
All right, there's a couple more guys. So I guess 1940 was Hitchcock's first American film, that is. I mean, obviously went on to have a stellar career. I have not watched tons of his movies. I'm starting to go back and watch more of them, though. I did watch a couple of late here with, I can't think of it now, but North by Northwest. That's what I watched recently.
Oh, okay.
Great stuff. So I just need to go back and watch more of his films beyond just the standard Psycho that you think about here.
I can't remember the last one I've seen other than Psycho.
They're all out there on streaming. I think North by North. I think I had to rent that one, but there's a lot out there. I want to see Rear Window. I watched Vertigo recently as well. It's another one I watched recently with very, very good. Okay, 1980, gentlemen, back in on March the 21st was the whole "Who Shot JR" phenomenon on the TV show Dallas. So I know we probably talked about this last year around this time when we were doing pop culture stuff here. But just as we said back then, we're going to say it again now. It's as far as the intelligence of marketing. Whoever came up with this storyline was just ingenious, with the whole, they ended it on a season and they had the entire summer off season of people speculating who shot JR. They had
T-shirts
magazines,
and hats,
T-shirts.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Just crazy. I wasn't, at that age, probably a little bit too old for me to get into at the time, we
were totally into it.
Were you?
Oh yeah, we were huge Dallas fans. It was such a big deal, the whole "Who Shot JR" thing, talking about it, taking bets, all this other thing. I significantly remember the next season, the premiere, when we were going to find out. My church at that time was in a church with another church, and they had service on Sunday mornings, so we had service on Sunday evenings. And I will never forget seeing people run out of church screaming, "I got to get home to find out who shot JR." One of the big things about church back then was the fellowshipping afterwards. That was in the hallway, all the hugs and the talking. People were running down the steps. Got to go. Everybody's got to get home and find out who shot JR. That's how big that was.
Do you remember who it was?
Absolutely. It was, I think her name was Kristen. It was his mistress. Everybody thought it was his wife or Lucy, maybe. And it turned out it was his mistress, and he couldn't do anything to her because I think she was pregnant with his baby. Or was it Suella who was pregnant? But it was his mistress, Kristen.
Exactly right. Kristen Shepard was his mistress. Exactly right. Yep. Good memory.
Yep.
How about that? Skinner, were you into the Dallas, or you were probably way too young for that, huh?
I was still in my pre-teen years. My mom watched it, so I never was, obviously it was too old for me at that time. I remember my mom talking about it, and I remember the whole country talking about who killed JR. I remember the T-shirts and everything you explained. I remember all that from back in the day, but as far as the show itself, I didn't watch it, no.
Speaking of games, I had a Dallas-themed TV show-themed card game. I remember back then, or something like that. You had you played different character. I can't remember how to. It was a fun game. I played a lot as a kid. I remember.
I loved the show, and then after the "Who Shot JR" thing was done with, the show kind of lost its luster. And then when the show Dynasty came out, I totally forgot all about Dallas. It was all about Dynasty after that.
Quite the era of evening soap operas.
Falcon Crest, all that stuff, yeah.
Yep. Okay, and then in 1954, on March the 25th here, guys, RCA makes color TV possible. So it was the first commissioned color television. Only about 4,000 were produced.
Wow.
There were only a few color broadcasts at the time were available. And the TV itself, think about this now. In 1954, $1,000 for a color television. That's a lot of money, of course, even today. But think about that in 1954. Yeah, it's
that's
definitely
more like $5,000, $10,000.
I don't know the translation, but it's certainly a hefty price tag. And it was a Polish inventor, patented the color television in 1897. But it wasn't until 1954 that most people could see it. How about that? I remember my first television in my bedroom was just a black and white television. I remember playing the Atari 2600 in black and white, and it had to switch black and white or color on the Atari 2600 console at the time. That was just in the early 80s.
And you said Polish inventor, right?
Polish inventor John. I'm not going to pronounce his last name correctly at all. Szczyzepianik.
Let me look on my list of great Polish inventors here. Let me see.
It was Jan. Yeah, right.
Yeah, so, you're right.
Real quick, fellas, $1,000 in 1954 is worth $11,183 today.
There you have it.
That's amazing.
There you have it. Yep.
For a color television. My first television when I was a kid was black and white, 13-inch television. You had to turn the dial, and you had the rabbit ears.
That's right.
Get like 4 or 5 channels, and I thought I was the coolest thing because I had a TV in my room. And it was a little.
Me too, brother. It was about this big.
You had to sit like this to see the TV.
Yeah. I didn't care. I had a TV in my room. Yep. It added presents and all this other stuff, and you couldn't tell me nothing after that.
Right.
My first color television was a KTV, which stood for Korean television. It was a tube television, and it's in this basement right now, back here off camera. It still works to this day.
And weighs about 1,000 pounds.
It's a portable one, but it's not light. Yes, for sure. The flat screen weighs like ounces compared to the. But still works today, and I can still hook up the old Atari to it if I want to.
Wow, very cool.
Yep. Good for you.
Yep, absolutely. All right, guys. Well, we have come to the end of episode 101.
101's in the books, baby.
That's right. So, Keith, any announcements, sir, before we wrap up this evening, sir?
Well, it's a little bit off, but on April 29th, I will be returning to the band BPM. The schedules have lined up. BPM stands for Brooks, Porter, and McKenzie. You have Al McKenzie, who is the bass player for the band Firehouse. Eric Brook, lead singer for the band Heartland, which has actual members of the Michael Stanley Band in it. Wow. And I will be performing with them April 21st, I'm sorry, at Lou's out there in Maslin. Well, Perry Heights between Maslin and Canton there. So, yeah, I'm glad to be performing with those guys again. Tremendous talent, both of them. And Firehouse is on a small break. Heartland is on a break. So we're going to be doing a few shows this summer. But the first one is April 21st out at Lou's.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you can find me on our brother podcast, as always, Convincing Idiots with Dean and Nick, Pop Culture Podcast. Also, where you listen to podcasts, Boss Code Media, and our YouTube channel at Convincing Idiots. And I'll be doing a special episode, Cage in a Cage, with Skinner coming up here.
Cage in a Cage. I love it.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, real quick, I want to say thank you. I'm sure we want to say thank you to all the people who helped make our 100th episode special. Thank you for all those that, corresponded with us via Facebook. We really appreciate it. Those that made videos, thank you all so much.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Good call out. Yes.
So, all right, episode 101's in the books. We're well on our way to 200. And Good to be back.
Around the corner.
That's right.
Teresa is saying, what's better than 50 is 100? Well, what's better than 100? 200. So,
That's right.
There you
so
go.
with that
We'll
being
be at
said,
Teresa's 100th birthday.
yeah, right. So for Brian Fisher, Keith Porter, I'm Michael Skinner. We're the guys from GenX. We appreciate you, and we will talk to you next week.
Take care, everybody.
Hey, Fish here from ItCameFromGenX with Skinner and Keith. For every like and subscribe, you may win a free 1-year subscription to the AARP.